What else can you have a career where you get applause? We haven't done anything yet. That's fantastic. I love you. Will you come home with me? And do you do yard work? Those are the important things. Welcome to, I don't know, it was 15 times 3, 45, the 47th graduating class of Stand Up and Make Them Laugh. I know I started in utero, so that explains that, just in case you were wondering. We have some wonderful comedians for you tonight. We have 8 for sure, maybe 9 if she shows up. You just never know with 1 or 2 of them. How many of you are here to either support a comedian or to see if you're the butt of the joke of a comedian? How many of you are the ex of a comedian? Because you will be the butt of the joke. Just in case you didn't know that for sure. Have any of you never been to the Actors Cabaret before? Do I need to give you descriptions on how to find the restroom unless you've got it programmed on your GPS handheld? Anybody? Basically, you go down the hallway. Do not take a right into the kitchen because they will make you do the dishes. Go past the big mirror, check to see if you've got anything in your teeth, and then that first hallway on the right, that's where you will find the men and ladies' rooms. And you may need them. We don't have an intermission, so feel free to go when you have to go because you are grown-ups and we trust you to do that. Well, I don't trust you, but some of my students might. So for those of you who are not familiar, basically the class Stand Up and Make Them Laugh takes 10 people who either are just recently off their Prozac or have been kicked out of the house by their spouse and need a place to go for a couple of minutes, a couple of hours an evening. And in the course of 10 weeks, we try to make them funnier than they were when they started. And so far, I think we've done a pretty good job. And this one here laughing all the time is in the class. And see, the problem is when she gets up here, that laugh will not be there. So I will make up for it, Tracy, just so you know, because I am the other easy laugher. So because we have so many people, we want to get right to them. I'm just going to put on my glasses and pretend to be a grown-up. The doctor told me I had presbyopia. I said, that's impossible. I'm agnostic, but still. Okay. Our first it's like, now I get it. Our first comedian, she's young, she's smart, she's attractive, she enjoys long, hot showers. No, wait, that was her own personal ad. Okay, here we go. She's young, she's smart, she's attractive, she's funny. She's Tracy Cribbs.
So it is true, you can't see anything. Okay, so my friend Adam told me that the person that goes first has to warm up the crowd, and so I did bring some polar fleeces and baklavas. They're right in the back. Okay. So I've had some pretty exciting news in my life lately, so I'm here to kind of tell you a little bit about my exciting news. I just got married. And my husband, he's very into mountaineering. And, you know, that's great. We have a lot of fun doing it. But except for candlelight dinners for 2, we usually get the climbing gym and veggie kebabs. And instead of those sexy high heels that they expect you to wear to bed, my husband asked me out wear my mountaineering boots. Oh yeah, baby, take off that, you know, lace from that rivet real slow. You know, you would think the challenging part of mountaineering would be, you know, going up 5,000 feet vertical, but it's not. It's actually watching out for falling rocks while you're trying to put on your makeup. So everybody usually asks me, where did I get married? Where did you get married? Exactly where you would think 2 outdoor mountaineering type of people would get married. Vegas. It was great, you know. It's like happy hour at my favorite bar, cheap drinks, flashy lights, you know, and all the strippers were my bridesmaids. You know, the marriage thing has been kind of new for me, and so I'm trying to learn everything that I can, you know, about marriage. So I looked it up on Wikipedia. And the thing I learned from Wikipedia about marriage is that there seems to be a little bit of contradiction about what they expected from women in the 50s when they got married to, you know, what I have expectations for myself. So I got a little something to read for you. This is what they expect of women back in the 50s. A good wife should always have dinner ready when her husband arrives. Clear away the clutter. Make one last trip through the house just before your husband arrives with a dust cloth and run a dust cloth over the tables. I think at the time of his arrival, you should make sure you've got a bottle of wine open, the TiVo remote, and don't forget to wipe down the stripper pole. And back in the 50s, they said that you should at least say yes to lovemaking once a week. And I say yes to lovemaking once in the shower, once on the counter, and once in the mountaineering boots. But the main reason why I decided to take this class is because I did, you know, just get laid off for my job. And my cat Checkers, she was having a hard time understanding why I kept trying to homeschool her. And I miss going out to lunch with my coworkers. We used to have so much fun, so I've taken to having lunch in my new favorite place, the garage. But I started getting unemployment checks, which was fantastic. It's just about enough to cover the cost of my monthly bikini wax. That's funny. But I've been looking for work for a couple of weeks now, so if you could, you know, let me know if you find it. Because I'm ready for it to come home now. But since I've been laid off, I've been really trying to do my part for the environment. Because, you know, usually what's good for the environment is also good for the budget. And, but I think I might have chosen the wrong thing because going without toilet paper has been really hard on Checkers. But being laid off gives me a chance to do what's really important in my life, Facebook. But I really do feel like this is my big moment on stage, and I'm really trying to take advantage of it. Except for, you know, I'm kind of having a hard time because I do like to take my cat Checkers with me everywhere I go. Last week I took her to the dentist, and, you know, she'd be here tonight, but she's recovering from those braces. But I do love my cat. I love her a lot. And in fact, I kind of have an unnatural attachment to her, and I write love songs for her sometimes. So I do have a love song for my cat Checkers. Would you like to? It's a sassy beat. Okay. I have a cat named Checkers, cute chicken bee, and when I hug and kiss her, she slaps me in the feet. Oh, she slaps me like a flea. She slaps me like a flea. When I hug and kiss her, she slaps me like a flea. Hey! Because I was guaranteed applause if I sang, so okay, that's it.
More time for Tracy. Just a little bit early on the St. Patty's Day there. If you need a leprechaun for your party, I think Tracy has business cards with her. She'll wear her mountaineering boots and she won't lace them up all the way. All right, are you ready for your next comedian? Okay. See, none of these comics have heard these introductions which they allow me to write about them because they're so silly. I would write my own. Okay, prove proving that age is all a state of mind. Our next graduate is both in his 80s and a former psychologist. He is proof positive that people attracted to the mental health profession are just a little... It's Bob Weiss!
Bonjour, amigos. I want to welcome you to my alternative universe. I suffer from PCGD, preconception guilt disorder. Of all the thousands of sperm that didn't make it, I did. But even with my eyes, I was able to do it, and my eyes are terrible. But guilt makes me very impulsive. You've all seen those ads on the LTD buses. You know, they're awful. So I'm itching to perk them up with some graffiti. Interesting things like, Freud was a mother lover. That's novel. Or, I sometimes feel my thoughts are not my own. Or the one I like is that the voices in my head are louder in the shower. Now, I've always had trouble with self-esteem. Thank God for the census. Now I can count for something. But my real problems began as a child of the 30s. I was sheltered. My family was very poor, so we moved from shelter to shelter to shelter. Now, one of the spin-offs of that experience was that it got me in touch with my inner child. Now, I think my inner child has Tourette's. Shit! Fuck! Piss! I'm sorry, wait. No, that's not the Tourette's. That's because I just remembered I left my oven on at home. Now, to tell you the truth, I found my inner child, best of all, after my first colonoscopy. I highly recommend that to anybody. And that's how I found out that he's really full of shit. Now, my therapist said that it's okay for my inner child to have his own friends. So my inner child got an inner child, and that kid got an inner child, and they're driving me crazy. It's like I'm running a preschool in my head. Now, my inner child and my imaginary friend are fighting constantly. And if I check in on them, they say it's all in my mind. That's not really happening, that I imagine it. But that's not true. Because they fight over who gets to use the Xbox, who gets to use my PlayStation, and who gets to watch my porno tapes. They're hard to come by these days. These aren't the jokes he asked. So I know it's not my imagination, because one of those guys has a hand on my joystick all the time. When I was a young child, my mother said to me, "God didn't put it there for you to play with." If not me, then who? I have spent 60 years interviewing women for that position. And in other positions too. Whenever there's a vacancy, I fill in as a temp. The pay sucks. But the outcome isn't so bad. And I know that God doesn't really mind, because my mother told me, God hates idle hands. And certainly my ex-wife is not the person God had in mind. Actually, she works at the DMV because her passive-aggressive personality disorder happens to fit the job requirements that they had. She's also the woman who sent me a coupon the other day for a $75 coupon that says $75 off on your next cremation. It sounds like a bargain, but I just had this feeling I'm going to get burnt on that deal. So I went to this open house at a new crematorium in my neighborhood. And the table that they lay out the bodies, they laid out a smorgasbord for us. Smoked oysters, smoked fish, smoked cheese, and char. They couldn't have a Danish. But it was a good time. It was fun. I met a lot of folks, and we sat around the fire making s'mores and telling ghost stories. They're all dead now, but I think of them every time I burn my dinner. I remarried young, and my wife is a very, very considerate person. She drops me off at the geriatric daycare center on her way to school. I told you she's very considerate. She always pins a note on my shirt in case I get lost. And it says, "Do not resuscitate." Time ago, I sat in one of her creative writing classes at college, and the teacher was saying, I want everybody to write about where they think they're going to be in the next 5 years. She bends over and looks at me, and she says, I want you to write I want you to write your advance directive. and do it before you leave class. My wife is always talking about my love handles, so I figure that's something she would like for herself. So I go to this upscale kitchenware store, and I go up to the sales lady, and I say, I would like to see your love handles. And she looks at me with a drop-dead look that I've never had before, and she says, do you have your advance directive? And I said, I did. That writing class really helped. I had to have cataract surgery, and so I have an eye exam. So this doctor first dilates both eyes, I only have two, and he comes at me with what had to be a 1,000-watt light in each eye. And I swear to God, he could look down into my liver. So I said to him, can you tell my future? He said, no, but I can refer you to a good proctologist. So I'm walking out after the surgery, and I'm thinking to myself, you know, a proctologist with a philosophical bent is like looking for the meaning of life by talking to assholes. Now, you've all been very, very nice, and my inner child wants to recite a poem. Would you like to hear a poem? Anyone here? Yes? Of all the fishes in the sea, my favorite is the bass. He climbs upon the slippery weeds and slides down on his hands and knees. Thank you.
One more time for Bob White. You know, in the mornings I teach grammar to 19 and 20-year-olds at the University of Oregon. Yes, they do let me do that. And in the evenings I'm teaching comedy to 80-year-olds who are talking about masturbation. So really, I have well bookended my life. Alrighty. Now, this next comedian actually wrote this intro for me because he knew that I probably couldn't pronounce it. So to get back at him, I'm going to read it with my southern accent. Rush your trouble. And now, from the demi-monde of unreliable raconteurs and rascals, we give you Russ El Pepe Desonnier. Russ!
Well, thank you, Bob, for giving me a tough act to follow. But anyway, it's nice to see you all down here. Thanks for coming. Oops, let me get this thing out of here. Say, how many of you people have dogs? Don't they add a wonderful dimension to your life? Yeah? I have a sweet, beautiful little blonde poodle that takes me for walks every day, keeps me company while the wife is at work. I mean, if it wasn't for the poodle, I'd be a desperate house husband, I'm telling you. But she is high maintenance. You know, what with the grooming and the vet bills. Hey, now there's something people don't think about, huh? Vet bills when you bring home a puppy. I mean, I'm talking some serious money here. Forget me, I want a public option for my dog. You ought to see my vet's fancy office. I call it the house my dog built. You think the vet would at least give me a key? You should see the way my wife fusses over the poodle. Hey, I want to be snuggled like that. You think it'd help if I wag something? She claims that the dog is a child surrogate, but I don't get it. Our children had their own room and slept in cribs, not in our bed. What the hell's going on? Dogs can be really good at sports, huh? You know, like frisbee, you see them at the park, hunting, swimming, butt surfing, your special Persian rug. I mean, I know it's gross, but when you love a dog, what the hell am I saying? It is gross. You know, it's funny how when you get annoyed with your dog, you know, the tail goes down between its legs. You know, it's kind of like losing the mood when your wife chooses bedtime to pick a bum with you. You know, I talk to my dog all the time. All the time. And, did I hear the phone ring? Yeah, that's my agent. Tell him he's fired. Yeah, I talk to my dog all the time. And I imagine that she talks back to me. You know, it's like something I've been doing now since I've had her about 10 years. Don't look at me that way. I know I'm not alone. You know, if dogs talk to you, imagine the stories they could tell you. Better yet, imagine if they talked and they ran Homeland Security. You know, like the airport check-through. Can't you see the German Shepherd now coming up to you in his official little uniform? Sir, your ID checks out, sir. But the law still requires me to sniff your butt. But dogs are pretty predictable, and so are people when you get to know them. You know, like your friends. I got this one friend, I don't know why the hell I kept him. He's so cheap that he sent me back my Christmas card from the previous year. Postage due. I got another friend, but you know, at my age, you can't afford to dump friends, huh? I got another friend, he's totally infatuated with Sarah Palin. I blame his hearing aid. But he's been going on about her so much lately. I mean, it's unnatural. I recommended to the poor guy to search the internet for a lookalike dummy. You betcha. I bet you have some friends like I do that always feel it's necessary to use foul, dirty, vulgar language, as if that makes their ideas more important and them more interesting. Like, who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? Like that guy. You know, wine and people have some parallels. You know, some are complex but pleasing, forthright but not impertinent, smooth with a long finish, and so on. An old one can be mellow, a young one like summer fruit, and some, like my former wife, can leave you with an unforgettable hangover. It's true. My Jewish friends tell me that I have borscht in my blood, but that's not the problem. It's just that I've been boozing for so many years, I got a chopped liver. You know, I'll bet you have one of those paranoid, conspiracy-obsessed friends who sends you emails full of loathing, fear and loathing. I'll bet you do, huh? What you gotta understand about these poor souls is that in childhood, they were damaged personally and permanently when they didn't find a prize in their Cracker Jacks. But now we have the new therapy, Facebook. You can imagine you're loved and popular even when your life is an empty book. Yeah, it's true. And then, what's all the big deal about this thing, Twitter? I mean, really? Huh? I mean, I know that brevity is the soul of wit, but aren't most tweets the soul of twit? Think about that for a while. Yeah, the world is really changing rapidly, you know, the computer world and everything. And I didn't realize how much the world had changed until recently when I went to my 50th high school class reunion. Oh man, I'll tell you, I met some old ladies there that said we dated. That night I had a wet dream. I sobbed until 3 in the morning. Look, I only went to my reunion to take a glimpse back, not to see my whole life in front of me. But actually the reunion wasn't so interesting. I mean, no one was particularly engaging or uplifting, except for those with facelifts and trophy wives with new boobs. Contrary to popular belief, you do not get wiser with age. You tend to get deeper into your old habits. You know, like you're still smoking, you know, but expensive cigars, you know about that, George. And you're drinking fancy single malt scotches, huh? And you're still messing around with a 30-year-old unfinished novel. I love her. I love her. Well, you're already married. So am I. So am I. But the nice thing about aging, and Bob, you will attest to this, is you live more in the moment, right? Which is about all it takes to forget what it was you were going to do. But isn't that exactly? But you know, and you probably know this one too, Bob. You know you're getting older when your wife winks at you, and you think she's got something in her eye. And you were right. But the nice thing now that I'm retired, you know, I get to travel a lot. 5 times a night to the bathroom. Pretty soon I'm coming up on 30 years of marriage. You don't know. It's great. But I think a short trip to Paris would be nice. Huh? Yeah? But I'm going to have to find a willing babe. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm not going to do that, honey.
One more time for Raz. Excellent. You guys are a great audience. I thought Tracy and I were going to have to carry everybody there for a minute, but you came right back with us. I don't know why you're complaining about aging. Aging is fine. You just need to know how to celebrate. I have decided to celebrate my birthdays dyslexically, and it works great. I'm 35, which is fabulous, because I still look 35 from the back. Well, at night in the fog. All right, let me just tell you before we get to our next comedian that here in about 2 weeks on April Fool's Day is the 15th annual Eugene Laugh-Off to crown the funniest person in the Eugene, Cottage Grove, Junction City, Veneta, Cottage, Crestwell, Coburg, Santa Clara metropolitan area while raising funds for Green Hill Humane Society. It's a $15 ticket and every penny goes to Green Hill. We have 7 celebrity judges. So if you haven't already bought your tickets, we sell out every year in advance, and I highly recommend that you do that. Several people from tonight will be in there. There will be 21 comics. Wow. So I know that tonight you only paid $3, which works out to 33 cents a comic, and we've gotten you spoiled. And I haven't done the math yet, but 21 comics for $15 ain't that bad of a deal either, so. And some of them are really, really great, so make sure to get your tickets for that. Okay, now, without further ado, I had a number of politicians take my comedy class, including Peter Sorensen. But I have never had someone who thought that taking my comedy class would help him initiate a political career. Until now. So our next comedian hopes that you laugh at him, but he's much more anxious that you actually vote for him when he runs for Springfield Commissioner. It's Mark Callahan.
My name is Mark Callahan, and I approve of this message. Give me a little bit to set up here. Hold on a second. So as Leanne said, I'm running for Lane County Commissioner, but I'm currently doing tech support at Symantec. So I'd like to give you a little bit of a glimpse in my current day and why I'm now running for Lane County Commissioner. So, as many as you know, I work for tech support, and I'd like to make my job more interesting. But I'm going to need your help, though, in terms of helping out with this bit. I'm kind of nervous, trying to build up my confidence. So when I motion towards you like this, I need for you to say, ring, ring. Okay. Thanks. Let's practice once. Ring, ring. Very good. How do you set up? Ring, ring. Thank you for calling tech support. How may I help you? Are you sure you used the right password? Can you tell me what that password is? Yes, you say? Your coworker typed it in? What did your coworker type in? Did you say 5 little stars? Ring, ring. Thank you for calling tech support. How may I help you? Do you have a sledgehammer and a brick handy? Ring. Thank you for calling. Thank you for calling tech support. How may I help you? Dude, that's a bummer. You say the printer won't print? Go ahead and send it to the other printers deal with it. I'm sure one is bound to work. What in the world? Do you have some brownies? I just can't do it, Captain. I don't have the power. Yeah, we can fix this, but you're gonna need a butter knife, a roll of duct tape, a car battery, and your TPS report. I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that. So, what are you wearing? Anyway, before they get to me, you have to go through the automated phone system. Any person, as a person that's familiar with technology like myself, and having a warped sense of humor, as you probably already noticed, if I were asked to design an automated phone system, it would kind of go something like this.
Ring.
Thank you for calling the Bank of Oregon. Press or say 1 for English, 2 for Spanish, 3 for Scotty, 4 for a good time with Helga. Thank you for pressing 1. At least now we know we can actually communicate with you. To further your call, please choose from the following options. Press or say 1 for checking accounts and savings accounts. Press or say 2 for credit cards. Press or say 3 if you'd like for us to foreclose on your home. Press or say 4 if you'd like for us to laugh hysterically when we deny your loan. Press or say 5 if you'd like to have a good time with candy. Let's press 2 for credit cards. Thank you. If you have a credit card with us, press or say 1. Press or say 2 if you have a credit card with someone else but would like to leave us your personal information. Press or say 3 if you are a complete moron, you don't have a credit card, you know what a credit card is because you live in a cave, hunt for your own food, have a brow ridge, and are offended by the Geico So Easy It's a Caveman commercial. Press or say 4 if you'd like for me to laugh hysterically at you after denying your credit card application. Press or say 5 if you'd like to sign over your firstborn just to get a credit card with us. Press or say 6 if you'd like to have... Press or say 6 for a good time with Amanda. Hey, big boy. Damn, when am I actually going to be able to talk to a real person? We heard that. Please hold. How are you doing? My name is Julio. How can I pleasure you tonight? Press or say 1 for oral sex. Press or say 2 for anal sex. Press or say 3 for nasal sex. Press or say 4 with an orgy with Candy, Helga, and Amanda, hey big boy, and me, Julio. Press or say 5 if you'd like for us to sodomize you with your credit card that you're never going to get for us. Thank you.
One more time for Mark. Proof positive that he's from Springfield. He did all those voices just fantastically, except the stoner. If he were from Eugene, that would have been the one he nailed. Okay, we are on to our next comedian. Okay, she has... Let me make sure of the number. Yeah. She's making her successful completion of her 9th attempt of taking this class. She wants you to know that she's really not that slow of a learner. It's just that she really, really, really wants to be teacher's pet. Or more appropriately, teacher's animal companion. It's Kay Ellen Hallmark.
You guys are on my time now, so you guys are gonna have to wait. Okay, this is my first time with props, so if something goes wrong, I'll have to call tech support, but... You know, I'd like to welcome you to my show. Damn, I promised Leanne I wouldn't try to hijack the show this time. But after 9 times, it kinda just happens. But you know, after 9 times, don't you think they'd be sick of me by now? Nah, they can still use me as a paperweight. I mean, do you know how hard it is? I mean, after 9 times of taking the same class and having to do different jokes each time? It's like trying to teach a nutria how to swim. But since they are a South American water rat and they already know how, you get wet and your friends will only remember the parts that make you look like a complete ass, so you get laughed at either way. You guys will have to forgive me for a second. I have an announcement. I'm a textbook addict. Literally. I mean, I've been taking the same class for about 5 years now. And I tell everybody that it's my last time, but the call of the roll just melts my butter. I mean, I tell people that I am stealing lunch money from 3rd graders, but invariably they always find me cowering down behind some school with, you know, doing textbook lines or snorting the fresh ink. Hold on a second, it's time for my fix. Where the hell did it go? Sorry, I need both hands for this. If any of you are offended by this, please don't hold it against me. It's not my fault. Man, that is so much better than being hooked on phonics. Sorry, my mom. Oh, God. Please, if you know my mother, please do not tell her at all. I mean, as a recovering wordaholic, she would be devastated if she saw what I was reduced to. And my mother, bless her heart, she goes to WA meetings. Unfortunately, they're water rat anonymous, and you don't want to know what goes on in them, trust me, it ain't pretty. Alright, and now, a word from our sponsors. Hello. My name is Horatio Eduardo Xavier. You may call me Hex. I represent the Casual Voodoo Society of America. And our slogan is, if you can have casual sex with the person you just met, you can have casual voodoo too. Right now, we are just a small organization, but we are just always trying to get new members. And if you leave me a self-addressed stamped envelope with your name, phone number, email address is optional, we will send you a certified CVSA starter kit for just $9.99. That's where the casual part comes in, dear. And if you act now, we will upgrade you to the large CVSA starter kit for only $5 more. But act now, supplies are limited. Delivery not available to Utah due to the abundance of Mormons. All right. Thank you. Have a nice night.
That was Kale and Hallmark. I love the putting on a hat and a velvet jacket to go casual. I just think that's fantastic. But I am easy too. I have several ex-husbands who will tell you that. Okay. Our next comedian is actually a DJ for New Country 93.3 KKNU. So if his voice sounds familiar, he has not been telephone stalking you. You've heard him on the radio. It's Bill Crawford.
I need a baton. Where's the baton? Thanks, Leanne, for that generous and flattering introduction. Usually you have to die to have such words spoken about you, but anyway, for a while I wasn't sure if I was 6.5 feet tall or 6.5 feet under. Say, is anyone here from a small town? Anybody? What small town are you from? Keno? Ye gads. I've heard of Keno. What was that again? Oh, Coquille. Yeah, I've heard of that too. I grew up in a little town, Cornhole, California. Anybody ever heard of it? It's near Gilroy. Yeah, I spent 2 weeks in Gilroy one day. Actually, I grew up in a little town, Central Point. Anybody know where that is? It's near Memphis. Yeah, I'm a Southern Oregon boy. You know, life in a small town is kind of like Cheers, where everybody knows your name, your address, and the results of the preacher's colonoscopy. Yeah, it was my kind of town. You may find this hard to believe, but I was little once. Yeah. I may be known as... I was always a fat kid when I was playing around too, but now I'm even the bigger fat kid. Anyway, I may be known as Big Bill Crawford now, but once upon a time I was known as Little Billy. And let me make it perfectly clear though, that only my 103-year-old grandmother can get away with calling me that now. Oh, my grandmother, she was something. Anyway, when I was little, there was this grade school friend of mine. His name was Gene. I greeted Gene every morning. I said, "Hi, Gene." Too bad he didn't practice any. That kid really smelled. Yeah, he stunk. It was worse than a herd of skunks fornicating in the cafeteria. That would make it a real multi-purpose room, wouldn't it? He really stank. I mean, stank. I mean, like this. That was bad. Whew, terrible. You know what I miss? Nap time. Miss nap time a lot. Wouldn't the world be a better place if we all observed nap time when we were little? Yeah, I'm glad you agree. It was a real challenge in our classroom to take a nap in the middle of the day. My first grade teacher, she was so sweet. Her name was Mrs. Foote. She took naps too, but we all knew it because she snored. Man, did she snore. I mean, it's like this. Ugh, hideous. How could that sweet little old woman make such a racket? Mrs. Foote actually became more known as Mrs. Foot and Mouth. Made me tired. I need to go to sleep. Oh, wait. All right, wake up. How can you sleep when the lights are on anyway? You know, I miss recess. I really do. Do you ever miss recess when you were little? Yeah, okay. My pals and I, all two of them, we play this game called King of the Mountain. Yeah, we find a huge mound of dirt. We push, shove, slam people to the ground, break their arms, that kind of thing. At the end, breaking arms. I'm such a violent little bastard. At the end, one of us would be the king. And that king would be me. Most of the time. Yeah, me. King Billy. Yeah, that's right. I was it. You know, I go home at the end of the day, blue jeans ripped, covered with dirt. These days, you know, ripped jeans cost about 75 bucks. This was like before there was a Bi-Mart in town. I got mine at JCPenney for like $2.50. And I got these at Walmart yesterday for like $3. You know, I'd walk in the door and that's when little Billy would suddenly become William. Uh-oh. I may have been king of the mountain for that one day, but my mother was queen of the castle. I don't think she appreciated that I was ahead of my time with the ripped jeans look. I think the cops are after me. I thought I heard a siren. Anyway, back to the playground. It was a typical playground. Slides, merry-go-rounds. That ill-tempered playground monitor, she was known as Mrs. Krabby Cakes. Didn't like her much. But anyway, the slide we had on the playground, it was really boring. Why would I want to use that slide, wimpy slide, when the fire escape slide for the 3-story building that I was next to was there to be conquered? Man, that thing was huge. It was really huge. How huge was it? No, there weren't any ladders. There weren't, really. There was no ladders. You had to actually climb up the slide itself to get to the top. It was technically off limits, but hey, Mrs. Krabby Cakes will never catch me, right? Wrong. Wrong. How many of you, when you were in grade school, ever had to go to the principal's office? See a show of hands, be honest. Had you ever been to the principal's office? I wouldn't say I had frequent flyer miles, but the principal and I were on a first name basis. I knew him well. And his name was Chuck. What's up, Chuck? How you doing, bud? We had some choice words from time to time, and his choice was usually bend over and grab your ankles. That was embarrassing. There wasn't anything left for me to say, really, so I bent over. I can do this now at age 53. I can do just about anything. So I bent over, grabbed my ankles, all 3 of them. No. You thought it was going to be something else, huh? There wasn't really anything left for me to say, really, so I bent over, and yeah, that's what happened. I don't know which was worse, Gene's smell or mine. Yeah, Gene showed up. Got me out of the principal's office, though, as fast as he could get me out. You know, recess wasn't the only thing I enjoyed, for the most part. I loved reading and writing. Arithmetic? Not so much. But I did know that 2 plus 2 equals 4 and that 2 minus 2 equals 0. And when I was studying fractions, 2/5 plus 2/5 would later equal a DUI conviction. Yeah, we couldn't help that. Later on, away from school, there was football at the local park. Loved playing football, especially with no pads. That was so much fun. No supervision, no moms, no dads were around, no pads. No refs, no whistles, no runs, no hits, no errors, no one, you know that one. You had to be really tough to play, you know. Crying was not allowed. That was the #1 rule. Crying was not allowed. Oh, about 50. Oh, I cried anyway. I just have to get this out. Later on, yeah, junior high school came and there was real football. Manly football. That's you can deal with it. Manly football.